Welcome back to TV Toastmasters. I'm Beth Genly, your host, and this evening I am delighted to welcome my good friend Arlene Cogen. Arlene and I met at Toastmasters for Speaking Professionals, where we've both been members for several years, and we certainly invite you to come and visit us. We meet the second and fourth Tuesdays of every month. Arlene is a certified financial professional who has started out on Wall Street and now has her own business, which we'll hear more about. Arlene has just written a book called Give to Live, which is actually a love story about your finances, your family, and how you can make a gift you never imagined. Arlene, I'm so glad you're here.
Beth, it's a pleasure to be here. I'm delighted.
Oh, I'm delighted too. I've been working on trying to get you here for
way too long.
Really true.
I apologize.
No problem. I'm thrilled you're here. So why'd you write the book?
It's a great question. I wrote the book, where do I start? A number of years ago, about 9 years ago, my mother got pancreatic cancer. And it was a terrible thing for us. And during that time that she got pancreatic cancer, my sister, brother, and I would go visit her. And if you knew my mom, she'd always get right down to business. And the first time I arrived at the airport to come see her, I had my bags with me, and I barely made it in the door before she was like handing me a stack of papers saying, "Arlene, after charity, does it go equally to your sister, brother, and you?" And after I had time to settle in and look at the documents, they did. After charity, it was divided equally between my siblings. And what I noticed from that was, so many people wait until the end of their life to make gifts. And so many people are stuck on an issue from making a gift that they just don't do it. So this book was really written for people to understand that they can take care of a lot of family situations that might seem uncomfortable or awkward, or you don't know how to move forward. But you can both make a gift, take care of family, get a tax deduction, and make a gift you never imagined. So I wanted to make that accessible to everyone. And what started out as a simple guide turned into a great book on basic understanding of charitable gifts, and it goes into some great stories of people who have given, and then it points you to your advisor so you can make a gift perhaps you never imagined.
Wow, it sounds so cool. So tell us, I want to get into that a little more, but first tell us about your professional background and why you're qualified to write a book like that, because I know you are.
Well, it began many, many years ago, and I actually started my financial career on Wall Street. And I worked for all of the big banks, Citibank, U.S. Trust of New York, First Union, which is now Wells Fargo. And loved being on Wall Street. You made people a lot of money, and they loved it when they saved with taxes. But then I had 2 daughters and decided to move out to the West Coast to be closer to family. And having experienced on Wall Street the glass ceiling, sexual harassment, wage discrimination, the whole bit, I decided it was really important to lead by example for my daughters, and saw a career coach to kind of figure out, if not Wall Street, what next? So after 20 years in the trust and investment world helping individuals, the career coach shares with me philanthropy and benevolence, and it kind of blew my mind. But the great part about that was I was able to transfer all my financial skills, where I worked at the Oregon Community Foundation for 9 years. And I really worked with professional advisors to help them and their clients create gifts they never imagined. So 20 years in the trust and investment world, 9 years in nonprofit development. I saw that hole where that education needed to be communicated in a simple, understandable way. So that's what makes me qualified. 30 years of hard work.
I guess that'll do it. My goodness. So you're a certified financial planner, and you've got this very wide, very deep background, how is this book different from all the other financial planning books that are out there? Because there's a lot.
There are many financial planning books, and this really isn't a book on financial planning.
Huh. Okay.
Financial planning books really talk about the actual dollars, you know, income in, expenses out. It talks about budgeting. It talks about your basic saving. And what's different about this financial plan, this book, is it starts out from a position where you're already successful and you're thinking, what next? How do I want to be remembered? How can I leave an impact different in this world? It helps you find purpose and meaning with your finances. And that's what makes it very different from other books in finance.
Wow, that's beautiful. Purpose and meaning with your finance. So what will readers learn when they read it?
Well, what they learn is very, very simple. They learn how to make a gift they never imagined. And that might look like a bequest or a beneficiary designation. And for those terms, not everyone is familiar with them, but it really breaks down the different ways people can give both during their life and through their estate plan into bite-sized, understandable terms. There's a great review that I got on Amazon from someone who said, I never thought giving was possible, but you make giving possible for thousandaires.
Ooh, all right. So definitely not a millionaire here, but I could possibly qualify for thousandaire. This is really exciting. So you keep using that term, a gift you never imagined, and I'm very curious about that. How would I go about giving a gift I never imagined?
That is an excellent question.
I'm good at those.
But to answer that question, please share a charity with me that you give $100 to every year.
Well, that's easy. Oregon Public Broadcasting.
OPB. I have a number of good friends who work over at OPB. It's an amazing organization that provides current news for not only locally but around the world. We have some amazing programming with OPB. Mm-hmm. So if you give them $100 every year, when you die, they stop receiving that money unless you endow a gift to them.
Yeah, well, endowments, that makes me think of Harvard and Yale, right?
Right, and they have millions and millions of dollars. But it's really easy for someone like you or any of our audience to make a gift they never imagined. So you take that $100 or whatever your annual gift is, and you multiply it by 20.
Okay.
So now you have $2,000.
Okay.
If you endow a gift of $2,000 to OPB, when managed properly, that will pay off $100 a year in perpetuity to OPB.
In perpetuity, you mean like forever?
Yeah, so you put it, and here's a way you don't even have to go see an attorney to pay to put this into your estate plan. If you have a retirement account, an IRA, a 401k, you can submit a beneficiary designation form that says $2,000 to OPB with their tax identification number. So when you die, your IRA funds it, and that $2,000 probably won't make or break your children, but it'll also make a gift you never imagined and be the most tax efficient asset you have to make that gift.
Okay, now you're kind of blowing my mind, because I did not imagine that I, many thousandaire that I am, could possibly give $100 a year forever to anyone. So that's pretty cool.
And that's what an endowment is putting that aside. And an organization like OPB, they already have an endowment, so they already have a nice pool that would be added to for their great programming.
And then they would know how to manage it so that it keeps generating enough money so they could get that
Absolutely.
$100. Way cool. All right, on that note, we'll take a little break, and we'll be right back with Arlene Cogen and more about her book, Give to Live.
As part of TV Toastmasters, I am helping to fulfill a mission to be the voice of various clubs around District 7 in Toastmasters International. My home club is New Horizons Toastmasters, but I'm also part of this club because I believe in the mission. I believe that Toastmasters has a real, true opportunity for many people to help improve their lives, to improve their personal lives, to improve their interpersonal skills. I truly am grateful to be able to participate to help New Horizons and other Toastmasters find their voice through TV Toastmasters that is broadcast through the greater Portland area and Salem area. I look forward to more opportunities to be the voice and to be the conduit of the voice of many other clubs and many other members of Toastmasters as I continue my participation in TV Toastmasters.
Welcome back to TV Toastmasters. I'm Beth Genly, your host, and we are continuing our conversation with Arlene Cogen, Certified Financial Planner. Arlene, before the break, you were talking about how I could make a gift I'd never imagined. It kind of blew my mind. I'm really curious, what's your giving story? What can you tell us?
I can tell you a lot.
Yeah, cool.
And let's start with first, my dad was a businessman and he always gave anonymously because the project was more important than having his name on it. And my mom, on the other hand, after my father had passed away, gave with her name because she wanted people to think, well, if I can give, they can give too. So that's the foundation of giving in my family. And then we delivered Meals on Wheels and all those lovely things. But when my mom was going through her illness in Florida, my sister, brother, and I, living all around the country, would take turns to go visit her. And besides the first time she handed me her stack of documents, these were some of the most beautiful and painful conversations that I had with my mom, talking about our values and what mattered. And one of my other visits with her, once again, getting down to business, we're at the table and she goes, "What are you going to do with the money?" And I'm like, "You mean the inheritance, Mom?" "No, the money." And I was like, "Okay, Mom, the money." And for me, it was really easy what I was going to do. And not that I had thought about it, but when she asked, it came from my heart. And we did 3 things with the money. The first, I said, "Mom, I want to take the family to Israel. Israel's important to you, and they've never been." The second was we would create a donor-advised fund to do our own giving. And the third was we would pay for the girls' education.
Okay, so I got 1 and 3, but donor advised fund, I'm a little lost. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Well, the donor advised fund is an amazing philanthropic tool that pretty much anyone can create. It's a mini private foundation.
Okay, so we're back at foundations again, or endowments we talked about before. Now we're at a foundation. Okay.
So when you have this donor advised fund, you get all the fun of philanthropy. You put money in there kind of as an account, and then you can make distributions to different nonprofit organizations like OPB that you care about. And the other thing you could do is it's a generational giving. So when you're gone, your children can advise on it. But I don't want to get too carried away with the donor advised fund. I'd really love to share how much that donor advised fund has enhanced our family's life for giving.
Please do.
So, I was working at the Oregon Community Foundation at the time, and the minimum account donor advised fund size was $25,000. Now, that's a lot of money when you have 2 teenage girls about to go to college.
Yeah, that's a lot of money, yeah.
And many people were kind of surprised that we chose to create the donor advised fund anyway. But to us, it was keeping our word with our mom and my mom, and also wanting to experience the joy of giving during our life. My mom at the end of her life had the look of a kid on a candy store making larger gifts than she imagined. And I'd seen that so many times at the Community Foundation. I didn't want to be one of those people waiting to the end of my life to make gifts. So we create this donor advised fund, and we meet with our donor relationship officer. She asked me beforehand, "Arlene, what part do you want to lead?" And I was like, "No, this is my business. I'm going to sit here, mouth shut. This is for my husband and my daughters." And we're going through the perfunctory checklist of I'm your relation, this is how you can call us, our fax number. And then we get to the question of how would you like your money invested? In the main investment pool or a socially responsible pool? Well, our youngest perks up and says, socially responsible. Why would we choose anything else? So Mitch and I look at each other, shrug our shoulders and say, okay. And then we got to the fun part of, our donor advised fund where we were making our first grant recommendations. At the time, our girls were at Lincoln High School, and Lincoln, just about like every other high school, middle school, elementary school, is trying to raise money, and they have suggested donations to help, for more teachers and other activities. And Mitch and I were sitting there ready to make our first grant to Lincoln High School with the perfunctory suggested amount, and Alana perks up, our oldest, and says, why would we give to Lincoln? They're a wealthy school. Shouldn't we give to a school in greater need? So Mitch and I looked at each other, shrugged our shoulders, and said, how about we do both?
Way cool. Okay.
So the learning from that first meeting, and each year we have a meeting to discuss where to give our money. And it's always an amazing and thoughtful conversation that's just added so much value to our family, and I get to experience that joy every day, and I'm not waiting till the end of my life to do that. And $25,000 is a lot of money. There are places you can start it with a much lower $5,000 and even lower than that.
It sounds like you've had an opportunity to keep the conversation going between parents and children in both directions. What are our values? What do we care about? Where do we want to make a difference?
Yeah, it's a fun thing to do.
That's really amazing. It kind of gives me goosebumps.
Oh, good.
Cool. All right. So what did you learn when you were writing the book that surprised you?
Oh, my God. What surprised me is I could write a book.
Oh, really? Wow, you're so good.
Oh, thank you, Beth. Here's a little secret.
Yeah.
I started off as a photography major.
No way. And that took you to Wall Street, obviously.
And that took me to Wall Street.
Yeah.
The reason why I started off as a photography major is because the application at the school did not have an essay. I just had to submit a portfolio of pictures. So I've come a long way. And it took me 2 book coaches and a book strategist to get this book out. But it really came out better than I ever imagined and became an Amazon bestseller.
Ooh, all right. Congratulations.
Thank you.
All right. So now now you can write another one.
Yes. I can. Uh-oh.
All right. So are you doing any kind of social media campaign to get the word out?
Yeah, social media is this great new tool I'm having a lot of fun with. And what I'm doing is everyone who buys a book and we're together, I like to take a picture and then, blast it on Instagram and Twitter and LinkedIn at Arlene Cogen. But I encourage everyone who gets the book and wants to take a picture and shout out there, my hashtags are Give to Live, like the title, and Changing Our World.
Give to Live, hashtag Give to Live, and hashtag Changing Our World.
Yeah.
Sounds great to me.
Yeah, join in.
All right, I will. All right. So where can more information be found on your book?
You can find more information on my website, arlenecogen.com, or, go right to Amazon and you can purchase books there.
Perfect. Okay. And what are you, now that you've got the book done and you've got the social media campaign going, what's next for you?
So what's next is I'm really getting out there and speaking to different groups, both financial advisors as well as many nonprofits, on giving and just opening up that conversation. And that's always a lot of fun when people's eyes light up, just like yours did earlier, and they say, wow, I can do that? And yes, you can. You can make a gift you never imagined.
I know a fair number of financial advisors, and I can't remember any of them talking to me about philanthropy. So it sounds like there's a lot of room for this conversation to happen.
I certainly hope so.
Beautiful. Okay. And I've heard you speak. You are an amazing speaker. So they're lucky to get you at wherever you go.
Thank you, Beth. You
You're-
flatter me.
Well, what are friends for?
Exactly.
So I hope that you have had your mind blown the way that I've had my mind blown to learn about how you can make a gift that you've never imagined, that you can, being a thousandaire and certainly not a millionaire, that you can give money in perpetuity to the causes you care most about. I'm so excited about this, I can hardly say. So with that, I'd like to thank you very much for joining us on this segment of TV Toastmasters. I'm Beth Genly, and I'm here this evening with Arlene Cogen, who wrote Give to Live.
Welcome to an opportunity to take the next step of your professional speaking journey. I want you to be honest with yourself. Have you ever wished you were a star in a television show? Or at an event where the media is interviewing bystanders and you are wanting to be picked to give your opinion of the event? Or even in the smallest sense, you're at a sports game and secretly hope that your smiling face would appear on that big jumbo screen TV? But the jumbo screen always finds the fans with the painted faces. And you think to yourself, maybe next time. Well, what if I can offer you a chance to be on TV? Would you take it? That is what I want to offer you now. I'm Dottie Love, Associate TV Producer and Director. Toastmasters International is one of the largest organizations whose mission is to help improve your speaking skills. And District 7 is expanding your opportunities to do speaking via television. We have 4 fully equipped television studios and TV Toastmaster broadcasts to over 500,000 homes, plus a YouTube channel. Who knew? We want to invite you to take advantage of using media and television, either in front or behind the scenes. Let me share a few options that you have. First, you can be a guest on a show. Highlight your business or hobby or your community interest. Anything you're passionate about. Be a featured guest. Secondly, you can train to be a host on an ongoing TV segment. We will train you for that. Third, what about creating your own talk show? We will train you for that as well and give you access to a community media studio to do just that. Or lastly, be behind the scenes, either running a camera or editing shows. You decide which avenue is best for you, and our TV Toastmasters team will help you to navigate to get the most out of your media experience. Personally, I've done them all. I started as a guest, went to hosting, up to directing my own TV show. I don't tell you this to impress you. I tell you this to impress upon you that your personal growth with Toastmasters is directly related to what you take advantage of. And I encourage you to be bold in looking for opportunities to stretch and grow. If this intrigues you, or if you have club members who you think that might be interested in this, please contact us here at TV Toastmasters. I'm Dottie Love, and you can reach me or any of us in the TV Toastmasters family at the contact information at the bottom of the screen. You can also find us on the web. Our website is 7512.toastmastersclub.org.